can't think of a reason why.
Oh, this is perfect, right? Because we're just rocking up now. Life's not great, but that's that's life. But I am alive.
Oh,
Love it, mate. Thank you so much for joining me on short notice. Last night we didn't turn up. That's my fault. Simply because I got caught in a situation I couldn't get out of, and life happens like that for me at times. So it's all good.
hello.
How are you, mate?
Yeah, going good, man.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest, I'm glad you didn't turn up. That's what I was saying. I was just like, send the message. I waited, didn't hear anything back, and I was just like, kind of great.
Sometimes things work out for the right reason, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes,
yeah. It wasn't that I wasn't keen. It was just like, yes, I get some time just to be with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but crazy day today. Come home with some awesome energy, and yeah, live
And
it is.
how cool is that, right? So I'm gonna, because like the title for today was emotions, right?
Mm, mm,
And like I wrote it up, and then I looked at it, and I'm like, what are we actually looking for, right? Because at the moment, this time of year, emotions hit us from everywhere. Okay, and how do we deal with them? What do we do? How do we process them? And I really want to talk about this right now because it brought up a lot about me, and I thought this is a great conversation to have with you now, simply because we've been working through things, right?
yeah,
And you and I have both realized the power of sitting in them,
mm,
just being present with them.
yeah,
So what actually happened tonight is um, Marcella had actually come home from work, and she'd been on the phone with her parents. Now, she hasn't seen her parents for quite a few years,
yeah,
and it's been tough, right? Because we've been living in Australia, had all those different opportunities. And so she was hurting, and she tried to bottle it up. And I said, don't do that. Just
yeah,
let it come. Let the emotion come out.
mm,
Whatever is inside you, just don't bottle it up. Let it come. Right? And she's like, oh. And then I said to her, I said, listen, I really want to share a situation with you that happened to me quite a few years ago. And she goes, oh, okay. I said, remember when Platinum Swimming Pools was liquidated, and I was trying to find my way in life. I didn't exactly know which way I was going to go. I didn't know how I was going to bring money in. And so I started steel fixing again. And steel fixing is a hard job. Like it's a tough job, demanding physically. And anyway, so I'm starting to get it back up, and I'm working through things, and I've got this big job. Now, I only had one guy working with me at the time. And at that time, this guy who a bit rough around the edges
yeah,
decided to take the day off. Right? Maybe overdid it the night before and probably couldn't front up.
yeah,
Really let me down. So here I am working away on this job in Brighton, and a big job, a stinking hot day. And here I am slaving away. And like you got 9 meter bars of steel, right? You got to
yeah,
lug those around on your own. That's not easy. Tie it up, move it along. And I just felt this massive wave of emotion just come through me. Like, what am I doing? How am I going to get through this? Why am I doing this? What's my future look like? What have I got in front of me? How am I going to get through this? And I just started crying, right? And I had the radio on, and I was cranking it up. I had to speak to Alan Stevens later that night, and do a podcast with him, and I was just exhausted. Meanwhile, while this is all going on, the clients come home, and here's me in the pool, tears everywhere, sobbing. And the owner goes, "Mate, you're right." I've gone, Yeah, nah.
Yeah,
Yeah, nah. I got it's a tough one for me today. You know, like clearly I'm here working on my own. This is not an easy job, and it's really hurting me right now. And he just goes to me, he goes, mate, you'll get through this. And I'm like, yeah, I will.
yeah,
And then he walked away. And I sat there in the emotion. I just sat, let the tears come. Kept working away, listening to the music. Song changed, kicked in, and I started feeling it more. And I'm looking around and I'm like, this is hard right now. But the sun is shining.
mhm,
I am able to do this. It's just a moment in time. I get through today, and who knows what tomorrow is going to bring, you know? And I really wanted to share that today. I really wanted to share that. Okay, it hurts right now. Yeah, it does. But let's get curious about that. Let's understand why. What is it specifically that's hurting today?
mhm,
Yeah, understand it. For me, it was hot. I was on my own. I didn't know what the future looked like. I had to get this job done. I was under time pressure. I had to, like all of these obstacles in my way. But I was doing my best that day.
mhm.
I turned up and I had a crack. Yeah.
Love that. I reckon the best thing you could have done was physical labor. Like,
Yeah.
I know for a lot of people, like when the emotions get high, you're like, I've got to go for a run or I'm just going to go do a workout. And for me, that's what I do. Like when I wake up, I just jump down and do some push ups because I just love getting that blood pumping real quick and just it gets me in a really good mindset. And that's what I was saying to some of the kids today. Like, morning routine's crucial. What do you do when you first wake up? Oh, look at my phone. Okay. What's something that you could do that's good for you instead of trying to attach to all this other stuff? Like, have a shower. Perfect.
Wash it off, right? Wash
And
it
watch
off.
everything off. Like, just watch
Yeah.
everything. Just go down the plug hole. Bang. Yeah. Fresh. But it was funny when you were talking. It took me back to man. It would have been 3 weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was out mowing the lawn, just listening to music. Always listen to music, and I was listening to the new Blink 182 album because I was a massive Blink 182 fan. And one of the songs it says, what was the line? My old shit ends here tonight, and it
What was that
triggered.
again?
My old shit ends here tonight.
Ah.
Triggered me, and I just broke down and started crying while I'm mowing the lawn. Like I'm just, yeah, it's just pouring down, and I just
Yeah.
embraced it and just let it, and I was just like, yes. And the more I thought about that line, the more it just flowed out.
Yeah.
And then after I'd finished, I was just felt like I was floating mowing the lawn. It was amazing.
But it
All
really is.
that line from a song.
And I think this is something that's really important right now. So I've been through a few scenarios recently where it's been heavy content, right? And the one thing that I really make sure I educate the people who are with me on is if somebody's in a deep emotional state and they've got all their emotions coming up,
Mm,
we don't touch them. Although they're crying and they've got everything coming out, and we don't touch them. We let them sit in their own emotion, because otherwise we entangle ours with theirs. There's an energy transfer, and that becomes more difficult to get through the situation for them. You've actually gone into sympathy rather than empathy. And the problem with sympathy is we get in the boat and we have to start rowing with them. And that actually makes it a lot harder. Whereas empathy, if we're out of the boat, then we've got the opportunity to direct them where to go. So that's such an important thing when someone's going through emotions. I think another great analogy, which I was talking to someone about the other day, was when we're dealing with something, right? We're out in the ocean, right? And the waves keep coming over us. That's life, right? It's coming over us.
mm,
We get better at navigating the waves, but we can't quite see when the next one's coming. We can't quite see what's going on, and we're trying to get through that, and that's our emotional state, right? So what do you do if you see someone in that right? Do you jump in and jump in the waves too? Because you don't get anywhere with them, because you end up in the same mess. What we need to do is stay on the pier, shout out directions, throw them a life buoy, see if they can grab onto that.
Yeah.
Right. But we don't get in the water with them.
No.
Right. And I think that is such an important part of this conversation about being curious about our emotions, how to sit in the emotions and what we do, because so often we get in these emotional situations with people, especially what we do. And how do you not take that on? How do you not just listen? Let it be, let it come out. Thank you for sharing that. You had an incident today, which we just quickly learnt about, where you just sat, you said nothing.
I know it was a few.
Oh, yeah, I know, right?
Wow. But and I just sat there with it, just allowed. I won't go too much into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just someone came up and just said, I need a therapist. I was like, oh, okay. Do you want to just tell me a bit? And she just started talking, and I just sat and just, there was this moment where she just sat there and just stared, and it would have been for a good 4 minutes. And I just stayed there with her. And just, and that's a big learning step for me, because usually I'd be like, all right, so this is what you got to do. And like, this has been a huge learning curve for me only in the last month, man. Like, allowing that moment to just be present, just one heart to another heart, just feel. And I was just randomly just going through my Instagram feed just before, because with my Instagram feed, I just follow heaps of inspirational stuff, because I like just going on and just going, oh yeah, no, that's perfect, that's lifting me up. And literally, there was a reel of this lady, and she's like, oh, what advice do you have for someone that's going through like a really dark day or a hard moment? She goes, sit with it, be in it, allow it, and move through it. And I was like, ah. And then you called, and bang, yeah, here we are.
And isn't that the beautiful thing, right? Because I like the fact that, like, last night didn't happen, but then I had this come up inside me today, and I'm like, you know what, emotions. We're talking about life. We're talking about which I'm going to share something really quickly in a minute. Wasn't planning, but we'll do it. And I go, Jake, let's get on the Zoom. Let's on the StreamYard. Let's get on there and have this conversation rather than just having it myself and sitting in the thought of it.
Yeah.
Let's share it. Let's open it up to questions. Let's open it up to, like, boundaries are a key part of holding space. Like, and it's boundaries are interesting for me, because they're interesting. I haven't. It's going to sound funny, but I haven't done enough on boundaries to appreciate that as much as what others do, because they're very flexible for me, boundaries. It's depending on the relationship, how much trust I've built, where I'm at with them, and it's such I struggle for hardline boundaries, but I do, actually, that's not true, because I do keep a hardline boundary that I won't step in and touch somebody when they're in an emotional state.
Yeah.
I sit back and I'll listen. So I'll need to do.
You'll be back.
I don't know what happened, but that's okay, right? If I disappear, just keep talking. And if you're about to start a sentence with, you know what you should do, stop talking. 100%. That's something for me that,
Boom.
yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to share something pretty cool.
Yeah, you go.
Tomorrow's going to be a really emotional night for me. The last 12 months, I've been running the Smiles for Life dinners in Frankston, and they have been amazing. Men have been coming together to spend 2 hours a month to do something positive for themselves. A lot of these guys have social anxiety and really have had trouble connecting, not only with themselves, but with the public. So tomorrow night, we're actually going to go for a walk in Frankston and thank our community for their support. We're going to walk around Frankston, handing out socks, connecting with our community. What an amazing thing to be doing with men that have. I almost got to tell you now. I'm just so proud of these men who have chosen to turn up and do this. Like it is just extraordinary.
To get out of that comfort zone, eh?
Yeah. There's a few guys that aren't turning up. That's a bit much, right? Which is okay, right?
Honor that.
Yeah, 100%. But I'm so proud of the men being willing to have a crack at this, and connect with our community. It's a pretty beautiful thing.
100%. Yeah, love that.
So it's going to be some emotions tomorrow. Whatever comes up, right?
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
Yeah. So, emotions. If you had to give one bit of advice to somebody who is deep in thought about dark days right now, what would you suggest? I think we can provide a wheelchair for him.
There's one that can't. Oh,
there's one that can't walk, but I'm pretty confident that there is actually a wheelchair if he wants to come. Maybe that is Damien.
I love that.
Hmm.
Okay, advice. This time is short. Just like the little dots on the socks. This time is short. Allow it to be. But it doesn't define you.
100%. I'm actually I'm going to try and do something. Hugh, I have just seen in the comments your comment.
Oh.
Sit in the emotion and listen to it.
Yeah.
No, I'll save it for Monday night. We're going to go live with the builders on Monday night. The guys I work with every Monday night. We're going to go live and we're going to share our year in review, but also talk about some big questions, which we'll share on Sunday. And the reason why I was almost going to bring Hugh live into this conversation, because that man, the way he has conducted himself in the last 12 months with the situation and the sandwich that he's been eating, is the epitome of sitting in the emotion, listening to it, and then making better decisions because he didn't react to it. He is the epitome of it. I am so proud of him. And the men who also sit there on a Monday night would say exactly the same thing. So that's a really good.
I don't even know what it is, but
nah. So a safe place to land is what I hold. It's one of my paid gigs that I do every Monday night with builders from around Australia, and we have conversations about anything and everything. And I mean everything. There is nothing we don't talk about. And it is just wonderful. It is the most amazing place that I've ever been able to put together and hold for men. Watch the space, because there's another opportunity which I'm really looking forward to hopefully opening up for other people.
Oh, great.
Actually, I need to speak to you about that, by the way. So,
great.
all good. There's another comment in here. Thoughts are just thoughts. Notice them, acknowledge them, and release them. You're allowed to think anything. And I am massive on this.
Lisa, thanks.
Thoughts are only a thought until they're action, right? So let's look at our thoughts and understand them and then decide whether or not we do want to action them.
Yeah.
I love it, and sometimes releasing them is that.
Definitely.
So I'm going to throw a bit of a side one here, a bit of a side curveball, just for something different. You said with the emotions about doing something, doing something physical.
Yeah.
One of the best things I have ever done when I am seriously challenged in life is sign up to something big. Sign up to something where I can create achievement for myself so that I have a purpose and a goal beyond my current situation. I'm going to give you an example. When Marcella had to learn to walk and talk again, we went through a really big time of difficulty. I was gifted the opportunity to do Ironman. Now, I didn't do enough training for it. But if I didn't have that goal in front of me, if I didn't have that opportunity of creating achievement in the future, then I would have been stuck in the situation. When Platinum Swimming Pools was liquidated, that was a really tough time in my life. I loved that company, and I loved what we did. But unfortunately, due to circumstances, that the option taken was, in support of my best mate.
Yeah.
But I signed up for Spartan Trifecta, which is, if you know the Spartan races, that's insane, right?
Yes, definitely.
But I signed up with two of my fittest mates, and I went and did that, and I achieved that.
Wow.
It gave me a purpose beyond my pain. It gave me something to focus on that I could keep working on. I would love to say to everybody, if you are hurting, if you are in a dark place, sign up to something. Sign up to something that you haven't done before, or something you haven't done in a long time.
Yeah.
Lately, I've been playing baseball on a Monday night quickly, with some amazing guys, and it's just filled my heart again.
Yeah.
Just get there and being on the mound, throwing with the boys. So,
because that's what creates a value inside of you.
Correct, right?
Yeah, which is why I keep playing football.
Yeah.
Because when I step on the football pitch or soccer, just feel amazing. Yeah, just love that game, and it creates a value inside of me, and I just get excited. And it's funny, after coming back and playing from doing all these mindset sessions and all that sort of thing, I was just like, I enjoy the game even more. And I won't go too deep into it, but I was an angry young man.
Same.
And back, I know why.
So we need to see how we go next week. We'll try and get on Tuesday night. Maybe we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Right? How did we go from angry young men?
Yeah.
To being who we are today? Because it's been a journey to get to that, right?
Definitely, man. Definitely.
And all that is all our unprocessed emotions that we dumped on everybody else because we didn't have safe places to do that.
Yeah. And it was funny. Like, a lot of people would be like, I've never seen this guy like this, because usually I'd be just chill. And then on the sporting field, it's just
yeah.
It's like turn into this battle. But looking back now, I'm like, right, that's trigger.
Well, yeah, 100%. Well, I think we need to talk about that, because I think that's exactly what this whole conversation's about. In essence, right? Is our emotions. How do we get through that? What did we do? What are the things we put in place?
Yeah, and triggers still come. It's just
100%.
like I see them and I don't respond to them the same way. Like this year, like major triggers, and it's just like
Yeah.
thank
And,
you.
it's funny that because people who know me well know that if it's a big emotional situation, I will not respond in that moment. I will not do it. Right. Because if I let that emotion out at that point, then I'm going to make mistakes and I'm going to hurt people I care about. And I don't want to do that. So I have to process it before I can put it on the table so that we can investigate it.
Yeah.
Well, let's go into that next week. So,
Definitely.
hey, it's like for a quick 10-minute pop up, we've already gone 25 minutes. I think we could talk for ages.
Yeah,
So,
too much to talk about, eh?
Yeah, 100%. Hey, thank you so much for just turning
mate.
up today and just coming up.
Nah.
How do you feel? How do you feel right now?
Just feeling this energy here, man, in my heart chakra. Just like since like when you called, I was like, oh man, I've got a great story. And it was funny because I was like just sitting with it going, yeah, feeling great. Didn't feel to message anyone, but when you called, it was like it just went, oh man, I've got something to share. And then you're like, hey, let's do it live. And I'm like, why not? So,
and isn't that the cool thing? Like,
yeah,
the ability to just turn up and have a crack.
Yeah, and not knowing who is going to benefit from it, like that's the beautiful thing of it. We're just having a chat, and I don't know who's going to benefit from it.
I can't wait to share with you what's coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
On that note, I just want to take a quick 5 minutes off air and actually talk about a few things because let's talk. For everyone watching, like just a random pop up. If you got some value out of it, throw it in the comments. Let us know.
Yeah.
We like to know whether or not we're actually, we're touching hearts or not. Encourage us to keep going. We do this because we like Jake. I just like talking to you. I like dancing with you. I like giving you my best so that I can learn more about you and I can do things differently because you teach me. I love it.
Yeah, always open to learning, never a finished product.
100% right.
Love it.
Well, on that note, I'm going to run. Thanks, Jake, for turning up. Thanks for anyone who's just watching.
Thanks, Scotty.
Love it. How good does it feel when you get the comments in there? Like it makes us feel good, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, comment away. So, all right, on that note, I'm going to find the button. Oh, hang on. David, great to see you guys. Yes, I missed not seeing you last night. Something I look... Dude, that's awesome.
Thanks,
so,
David.
David?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Tell us what you're liking about us popping up, David. Let us know because, I really like that. Thank you. Awesome. I like it when people write things like that.
100%.
How does that make you feel?
Grateful.
Yeah.
Just grateful that, because when you think about it, you're just like, you're here and you're like, well, I'm just a normal person, and helping someone just by sharing something that's happened with you is just so, gratitude's just, love it.
It's that heart filling stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. Just learning by seeing.
100%. All right, I'm going to press the button because I want to go.
Right.
But to everyone out there, thank you so much for joining us on a random pop up, and I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday.
Love it.
Beautiful. All right. Hang on a sec. Well, Wednesday. Maybe if I'm not if maybe just because of that comment, if we're not going to turn up, I might post something. But it's just stuff happens. So, all right, end stream. Press the button. Do you know where the button is? I can't find it. Can you see it? It's just over there. Like, can you see it?
No.
You can't see the button.
No, not from here.
Really?
No.
You sure?